Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where experts in the field inform, educate and inspire the community to be healthier, more balanced and live the lifestyle they love. Our first guest today, Michèle Wolff, is a naturopath, author and lecturer, and the topic we'll be discussing is constipation and other digestive health issues. Welcome, Michèle.
Thank you, Megan.
So, Michèle, constipation is a very common problem. Could you describe the cause of constipation?
Yeah, sure. There are several causes which are lifestyle causes because of the modern day lifestyle. The number one cause is a lack of water. So if you are somebody that has a very active lifestyle and you perspire a lot or you go in saunas, you're going to need more water than someone else. But the amount of water you need is also based on your body weight. It's also based on how much salt you have in your diet as well. But on average, if you times your body weight in kilograms by 33, you'll get the amount of mils of water that you should have. And best to have that water warm rather than cold, it hydrates better. The second would be lack of fibre in the diet. So a lot of us have junk food, more white products in the diet, more refined food, white rice rather than brown rice, and so on. So increasing your fibre through whole foods, so that would be more green leafy vegetables, whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat. If you're someone that tolerates wheat, brown bread rather than white bread. A breakfast that I would commonly prescribe is oat bran, which is very fibrous, mixed with hot water with some figs and some chia seeds and some LSA, and that's a really, really good fibre to get the bowel moving. If it's not resolved by that, then look at exercise. So we've become very sedentary in our lifestyle compared to how much we're supposed to move, and the body needs to move in order for the bowel to move. If you haven't got a certain period of time for normal exercise, then you can invest in like a small trampoline or a lymphocyzer, it's often called. Bounce up and down while you're watching television. That's really good exercise for the gut. And the other thing I would say is that we're actually not designed to sit on the toilets in the position that we sit in. So in countries like Asia and in France, a lot of the toilets are holes in the ground and the bottom part of your bowel opens right up when you're squatting. So there are several companies that have squatting stools that go around toilets that can make a considerable difference to constipation and easy passage from the bowel. After that, the next most important thing would be probiotics. So probiotics are often known as bifidus and lactobacillus as the main ones, but there are over 700 recorded species now. And they come from foods like plain yogurt. There's a Balkan drink called kefir, which has huge amounts of probiotics. That's readily available in health food shops, or you can make it yourself. And having foods like sauerkraut, so fermented cabbage as an example, small amounts with the meals. If you've addressed all of those and there's still constipation, then have a look at your stress levels. So that can have a big impact on the bowel with the mind-gut connection. So if you're holding on to emotions, often the bowel can hold on and you can be constipated. If you've got a lot of worry that's going over a period of time, that can often hold on the bowel. So there are specific lifestyle techniques that you can do to release that stress. If it's more complicated, you might want to see a professional counsellor or psychotherapist to help release that. And I would use specific herbs for the gut-brain connection and to relax the gut and calm the mind. So stress has quite a big impact There can be more serious illnesses like hypothyroid that can cause.
What problems does constipation cause to the body?
So it can cause a lot of very uncomfortable symptoms. Bloating is a big one, which can be really uncomfortable for people. Sometimes it causes excessive gas. It causes a sluggishness, particularly in the brain, from the endotoxins going around in the body and the body just not being cleared, and the pressure on the body. If you're very constipated, it also causes a lot of pressure on the heart, and it can make you feel quite unhappy and quite down if it goes on, both from the uncomfortable feeling and the toxins not being passed. So you've got an unhealthy fermentation that goes on in the gut. So, you know, every 24 to 48 hours, the food should be moving out of the gut. It's like a rubbish bin that needs to be moved out, not causing recirculating toxins and mind problems. It can also cause problems with sleep. So some people wake up in the night because their gut is uncomfortable. With some people, it can cause swollen glands because the fluids are just not moving through the body. And you'd be more prone to, like if you're somebody that suffers with eczema, for example, it will be worse when you're constipated because, because the toxins are not free flowing out of the body.
Do you have any tips for our viewers for some healthy eating?
Yeah, so there's lots of tips for healthy eating as far as constipation goes. So having enough fibre is very important. So always have your whole grains, so brown rice instead of white rice. Every grain you have a whole grain. Green leafy vegetables. Your 1 tablespoon of chia seeds a day can be amazing. A teaspoon of ground flax seeds a day. 1 to 2 figs a day. All these things move the bowel. And then have something in the diet that's got some culture in it that helps those good probiotics and those good prebiotics. So plain yogurt or kefir, which is actually a Balkan drink that has many times more good flora and fauna than plain yogurt. That's readily available from a health food shop, and it's spelled Kefir. And avoiding white foods and avoiding junk foods, avoiding fizzy drinks and drinks with colourings in, that all will help the gut and will help constipation.
Fantastic information, Michèle. If you'd like to know more about constipation and other digestive issues and Michèle Wolff, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we have another interesting guest with another interesting topic. Stay tuned. After the break, health coach Denise Mokadsi will be discussing the smartest workout for your body type and how you can have the fastest fitness results with less effort. Welcome back. Our second guest is health coach Denise Mokadsi. We'll be discussing the smartest workouts for your body type and how to have the best results with the least amount of effort. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you.
Denise, when it comes to fitness, is more exercise always better?
Sounds like it should be, doesn't it? Like if something's good, let's just do more of it and it'll be better. But that's actually not always true. And our genes have a big part of that. What we do and our genes together, that combination is referred to as epigenetics. And so when we look at what we're doing with our lifestyle and how it influences our genes, then we can make really smart decisions about what we might do, for example, with exercise. So for some people, exercising more might be better if they're not doing much. But if someone's already doing quite a lot, more exercise is going to be harmful. It's all really about stress management, and we can definitely look at someone's body type through epigenetics. We can test for that. We can do measures on how they actually look, which gives us really important information, really interesting information, like the size of someone's muscle and the density of it. And how they respond, whether they've got a lot of fast muscle twitch fibres or slow muscle twitch fibres, makes them more predisposed to particular exercises or workouts. So one will be more suited to sprints, for example. So the fast muscle twitch fibre, they're very good sprinters, whereas the slow twitch muscle fibre are more the endurance kind of bodies. We also can look at whether someone is more of a strength trainer and they get good results building muscle by lifting weights, whereas someone else that might take a lot of work to get a similar result because their body type or their genetics don't suit building muscle, for example. We can look even deeper about the genes and see whether someone has got certain genes that allows them to recover particular ways, or how their body uses adrenaline. And again, really, it's all just how do we manage stress, because exercise is a stress. And this is why exercising more is not always exactly the answer, because it introduces more stress into a body.
Is it true understanding your genetics and your exact body type can help you design smarter and more effective workouts overall?
For the sort of a similar reason. So if we know someone's got a lot of genetics, that means that they're going to be a better sprinter. It's better for that person to do more sprint work. It's also about what their goals are. So if they were wanting to build muscle and have a strength program, they could still do it, but it's quite helpful for the trainer to know that their body is more suited to sprint work, and just to give the client realistic expectations that they can still build muscle. But if you think of a weightlifter, they look very different to a marathon runner. You can see the different body types are suited to one particular exercise more than the other. But often we find that people who have a certain goal around something will pick that goal because they know their body that suits their body. Like a marathon runner type body is probably not going to be someone that wants to be a weightlifter. They're going to they like doing more the sprint work. It feels better for them. And so people can work it out through trial and error. But it's nice to have some genetic testing done to know, oh, okay, I'm going to need more recovery, or my body responds better to one type of exercise than another.
Denise, how do you test for this?
We can look at the DNA sequence and the effect of lifestyle on the sequence to look for these epigenetic markers or variations. And sometimes that can involve a blood test or a urine test or stool or a swab, cheek swab. We're really just looking to see where can we get the genetic information to see what's going on with the genes. We can also do less invasive testing that doesn't require a blood sample, for example. It would be body measurements. You know, we can just look at the different dimensions and proportions of body type, and that will also give us a diagnosis, like the relationship between someone's wrist size and length, or how thick their neck is, or how thick and how long a neck is. In relation to the other measurements, you can kind of see it. Like a shorter person with a thicker neck is more likely to be like a strength or a bodybuilder compared to someone with a long, lean neck who's more like a sprinter.
What practical ways could our viewers start making their exercise routines work better for their body types?
Testing is always good because everyone is so different. You can start noticing how you feel. Like if you're doing certain exercise, just see if sprint work feels good for you, or if lifting heavier weights starts to feel good for you, or your body responds well. That can be a good way to tell what's going on for you. It can be tricky though. Sometimes you might see someone else getting a really good response from heaps of interval work that they're doing. So you might think, oh, I'm going to do that too. But maybe that doesn't suit you. And so it puts more stress on your body and you're not getting the results. It might work, but it's just a bit of a guesswork. You know, it's trial and error. Other things people can do is really to notice how well they're recovering after a particular type of exercise. So if they're doing a lot of sprint work and the next day they feel really great and they recover quite well from it, it's probably an exercise that's suiting their body. Whereas if they're just dragging their feet and they feel terrible or feel injured, it's probably not something that suits their body. So just noticing that, like tracking all of that. And I think taking enough recovery time. Lots of people, like you said at the start, isn't more better. We think it is, but actually we get stronger when we're not training, like when we're sleeping and when we're recovering. So it's important to put in enough recovery sessions. So that might help someone realise, oh, that might be a better way for them to get results because now they're giving their body more time to recover. So, that would be another thing that I'd get people to sort of look at. And speak to a professional, an exercise professional, or get a DNA test to see exactly what's going on for your biology. That's probably the best way to know for sure.
Thanks for such important information, Denise.
Thank you.
If you'd like to know more about Denise and the best workout for your body type, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we have another interesting guest with another interesting topic. Stay tuned. After the break, psychotherapist specialising in hypnotherapy, Julie Makin, will be talking about Dare to Live Authentically. Welcome back. Our last guest is Julie Makin, a psychotherapist specialising in hypnotherapy, here to discuss the topic, Dare to Live Authentically. Hi Julie, it's so great to have you back.
Hi, thank you.
So tell us, what is authenticity?
Being authentic is about being true to yourself and to be asking yourself, is this right for me? Okay, so as an example, I know a lady and she felt hopeless, helpless. She had problems voicing, her wants and needs. She also felt not supported in her family unit. She had a couple of young kids and a husband that wasn't overly supportive. But when she actually started asking herself, is this right for me, at every choice, the world started to shift for her. People around her started to respond differently to her because she was starting to put up innate boundaries simply by asking herself, is this right for me? And when we do that, our world starts to work for us.
And how else can we live our truth? You've said put up boundaries and...
So definitely putting in boundaries as to what is right for you. If you're wanting to communicate with somebody, you might start off with an I feel statement. So I feel hurt when walk off on me and I'm in the middle of talking to you. I feel scared when you start to raise your voice. That sort of thing. So those are I feel statements. And the I feel statement is not about blaming the other person. It's about making both parties feel safe. Not only are you getting across what it is that you feel that you need to say, but then it's not landing on the other person as an attack. The other thing that I would say is you might also like to put in a thank you statement. So in a relationship, it might help to say thank you and appreciate that person. Thank you so much for being there for me. I know perhaps I haven't always said thank you for, when you do the dishes, when you pick the kids up from school. So just letting your partner know that you are appreciated. So being authentic, once again, I always come back to listening to the body as to what is right for you. So when you listen to the body and you go, okay, so do I want to go to that party? And if you just listen into your body and you recognize, oh, you know what, that's feeling a little bit challenging. It's, I'm getting all these anxious feelings coming up. And when that happens, I invite you to start to put yourself back in control by saying, okay, do I actually want to go to that party, or do I, not want to go? Because you know what? You have choice. So when you have choice and when you say, yes, you know what, I'm gonna go to that party, you are putting yourself back in control. You are putting yourself back into a place of safety. The other things to touch on as far as safety is concerned is to, start breathing properly. So in for 4, out for 4, sometimes even the double breath in, like the Wim Hof double breath in, making sure that you get it all the way down to the gut. Other things to connect with others to help us feel safe is the eye contact. We want to smile at someone, we want to connect with them. So those things help. You could also try like putting your tongue against the roof of your mouth as well. So just tiny little tips. Maybe check your body posture. So if we're feeling, we're crouching over and we're putting our head down, our body starts to feel that little bit low and depressed. But when we like stand up and where our chest is out, we're standing tall, we are proud of who we are, we are confident, and we are showing everybody and putting out this energy. Yes, we are confident. And when you start to live authentically, that starts to happen automatically. Your body starts to do it on its own.
What stops people from living authentically?
Okay, what I feel stops people from living authentically is that conditioning that we had as a child. Once again, I'm going to say my parents were gold star parents. They put the roof over my head, they clothed me, they fed me. They were awesome. They taught me to be compliant, to do as I was told, to put other people's needs ahead of my own. In doing so, they had me feeling like I don't matter. So these are the sorts of things that push aside our feeling of authenticity. Now, that kind of conditioning I had to put up with as a child. I still want to be loved. It's really important for a person to feel loved and included, not rejected. We want to feel supported. We want to feel safe.
Do you have any tips for our viewers?
Oh, absolutely. So once again, I'm going to reiterate the importance of the breathing. So in for 4, out for 4, to start taking the body back to that place of safety. Also, you might like to look at eye contact and smiling, with someone just to help connect. One thing that I really do feel is that villagers back in the day, our ancestors, had it spot on when they would do things like the dancing and the singing. So one thing that I will do in the morning is I like to sing, have music on in the shower in the morning, start to move around a little bit, and just to start your day off. You want to start your day off nice and good in the morning. And just the tip is to start taking up space. So whether or not you're, in a chair like this, you might, start to sit on a 45-degree angle. Start to take up space. When you're hopping out of bed in the morning, perhaps even before you even put your feet on the floor, I invite you to do open yourself up like a star and just start to take up space. It really helps the rest of the day to have a flow. We want you to start off the day in a positive way. Also invite the viewers to, start to connect more with your friends, your relatives, just for support if you need to. And then for further assistance, please get in touch with a professional therapist, of any modality. It doesn't matter. It's got to be what is right for you. Maybe one thing might not work for you, but perhaps something else will. So I invite you to really, get curious and start to have some adventure around that. Start to explore what is right for you.
Thank you so much, Julie.
No worries, thank you.
If you would like to know more about living authentically and Julie Makin, please visit her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. That's all we have time for tonight. Goodbye until next week.
If you'd like to know more about our show, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel.